U.S. Navy to greatly expand P-8 Poseidon's mission with new missiles, mines, bombs, decoys, and with secretive radar pod surveils massive Chinese naval base in South China Sea. Patrol aircraft flew a route close to China's Hainan Island in the South China Sea, which is home to a massive People's Liberation Army Navy base, earlier today. This particular aircraft is one of a small subset of the service's Poseidon fleet that is configured to carry a shadowy radar system known as the APS-154 Advanced Airborne Sensor. Online plane spotter and Twitter user Golf9 spotted the P-8A, which carries the Navy Bureau number 169010, flying a route through the South China Sea that took it around Hainan and into the Gulf of Tonkin. The Poseidon then turned around and exited the area along a similar path. The plane came within approximately 30 miles of the southern coast of the island, including passes by the sprawling Yulin Naval Base. Golf9 also pointed out that 169010 is one of at least 7 P-8As that have been observed carrying the APS-154 in the past. The Advanced Airborne Sensor is a large podded system that requires the installation of a special mount on the underside of the fuselage. Raytheon developed the APS-154 almost under a large degree of secrecy, and its exact capabilities remain highly classified. The radar inside the pod is known to be an active electronically scanned array type that can capture highly detailed imagery, even at night or in bad weather, while operating in a synthetic aperture mode, and has a moving target indicator functionality. The AAS is also specifically designed to work in complex littoral regions and scan sea and land areas at the same time with extreme fidelity. Traditional surface search radars are generally configured to spot and track objects of interest in one of these environments or the other, or have dedicated modes for both, and have trouble functioning in both simultaneously. The Navy acquired the APS-154 as a direct follow-on to the APS-149 Littoral Surveillance Radar System, an earlier and equally secretive Raytheon-developed podded radar that some of the service's P-3C Orions carry. Hainan is exactly the kind of target area that the APS-154 was designed to scan. The P-8A also have signals intelligence capabilities, which allow them to detect, geolocate, and classify emissions, including from radars and other air defense nodes, which can help in building a so-called electronic order of battle of a potential opponent's defensive networks. The island has long been an intelligence target for the U.S. military and the U.S. intelligence community. Notably, a Navy EP-3E Ares II spy plane made an emergency landing at Lingshui Airfield on the island after suffering serious damage after a mid-air collision with a People's Liberation Army Navy J-8 fighter jet. The Chinese jet was destroyed, killing the pilot, Lieutenant Commander Wang Wei, in what became a major international incident. The AAS-equipped P-8A on this latest flight past the island would certainly have been able to peer into Yulin with its underslung radar while flying a slanted flight path, as well as other potential areas of interest along the coast. One particular objective might have to gather information about the state of the People's Liberation Army Navy's growing Type 094 Jin-class ballistic missile submarine fleet. There were reports that the PLA had taken delivery of 2 more Type 94s, which, if true, would bring the total number of these submarines in service to 6. The Office of Naval Intelligence told members of Congress that China only commissioned 4 of these submarines so far, though it expected 6 ballistic missile submarines to be in Chinese service by 2025 and 8 by 2030. This total could eventually include some number of new Type 096 ballistic missile submarines, a follow-on class to the Type 094 that is reportedly in development. The Type 094 represent an important and expanding second strike nuclear capability for China and, together with reported work on the H-20 stealth strategic bomber, is evidence that the country is moving closer to deploying a true deterrent triad of land, sea, and aerial delivery platforms. In addition, Chinese authorities just recently highlighted continued work on the JL-3 solid-fuel submarine-launched ballistic missile, development of which first began as a companion to the Type 096. Yulin is a major base for the PLA's steadily larger and more modern submarine force, as well as its surface fleets, as well, and famously features a large network of underground facilities, including pens that submarines can sail in and out of directly. The Chinese have also expanded military facilities above ground in the same general area, including around nearby Sanya Harbor. In recent years, notably adding a pier capable of accommodating the country's growing fleet of aircraft carriers. The flight of 169,010 past Hainan also follows the apparent end of a dispute in the southern end of the South China Sea over the activities of the West Capella, a Panama-flagged drillship operating under contract to the Malaysian government to explore potential oil and natural gas resources in the area. Beijing has expansive claims over virtually the entire body of water, which every other country in the region, as well as the vast majority of the international community, rejects. Chinese vessels reportedly harassed the West Capella and supporting ships, starting in December, and China also sent its own survey vessel, the Haiyang Dizzy 8, from Hainan to conduct operations in the area with escorts from the Chinese Coast Guard and the country's paramilitary maritime militia. Naval vessels from Vietnam, which also has territorial claims in the area, as well as the United States and Australia, conducted various patrols in the region, as well. The United States is concerned by reports of China's repeated provocative actions aimed at the offshore oil and gas development of other claimant states, the U.S. State Department said in a statement. In this instance, China should cease its bullying behavior and refrain from engaging in this type of provocative and destabilizing activity. In addition to their recent flights in the South China Sea, Air Force B-1 bombers have flown a number of recent missions into the East China Sea to the north of Taiwan, in which China also has territorial disputes with Japan and South Korea. With all this going on, while we don't know exactly what 169,010 and its APS-154 radar were looking at specifically, it's hardly surprising that the Navy sent it to go check on what might be happening at one of China's most strategic naval bases. The AAS offers the Navy a powerful new intelligence-gathering tool, and it seems likely that we will now be seeing more of the P-8A equipped with these secretive sensors, especially in the Pacific region. The U.S. Navy says that it is interested in dramatically expanding the arsenal of weapons that its P-8A Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft are capable of carrying. The service says that it wants to start by integrating the AGM-158C long-range anti-ship missile on the planes, but then potentially move on to add various air-launched naval mines, precision-guided bombs, and the miniature air-launched decoy, or MALD, to the available loadout options. There has been a debate within the Navy for years about giving the P-8 as the ability to employ more types of munitions and other stores, which could turn these aircraft into arsenal ships of sorts capable of performing missions beyond anti-submarine, anti-surface warfare, and search and rescue, something the war zone has been following for years now.